Hey guys, Joe Tunney here at Infinity of Kirkland in Kirkland, Washington with a car I'm particularly thrilled about. We just took it in a 2014 Audi SQ5, the first one we've ever seen. I've only seen one out on the open road and I've been dying to take one out for a drive. And I just had my first chance to take it out for a nice romp. And let me tell you something, forget crossover, forget sport utility. This is just a super exciting sports car, period. That's all that this is. It's a thrilling, immediately satisfying, super duper fun to drive sports car that does everything that you could possibly want. 0 to 100, no problem. We take it down to Willows Road, right down the road here, and take it on some 0 to 100 romps up to the golf course there, and it's just whatever you want. Yes, sir. Would you like to go 120? Not a problem, sir. Would you like to take this right turn at a super sharp angle at 75 miles an hour? As you please, sir. It's so relaxed, it's so composed, it's just whatever you feel like doing. You want to slam on the brakes and stop from 70 miles an hour and no time flat? Yeah, if that's what you want to do, not a problem. If you want to take a super aggressive turn around a negatively banked turn like you're not supposed to do, whatever. Everything about this experience, it's so easy to drive. As soon as I romp on it for the first time, and you gotta remember, I drive cars all day long, every single day, and lots of fun cars and lots of big horsepower cars. They're all great for their own different reasons, but they don't speak to me as a person, very seldomly. And as soon as I lay the pedal down to the ground on this car, the first words that jump out of my mouth are, woohoo! I mean, it's just so fun, it's so exciting, it just feels so great. It's got this dynamite 8-speed transmission, supercharger, it doesn't even feel like there's anything addendum-wise to the engine. It just feels like a total normal gas engine with big horsepower, with amazing exhaust sound. It sounds fantastic, and we'll crank that up and see how that sounds for ourselves. But this is a really neat, fun, fast car, not a crossover. Yes, it's got all-wheel drive and it looks like a crossover. It's just a fast car. Let's take a look around this is a Prestige model, and so the Prestige model comes with, my favorite part is that Bang & Olufsen 505 watt stereo system. So the driving fast is exhilarating. Driving fast to fantastic music that's playing extremely loud, well, that's just about as good as it gets. You notice right up front the SQ5 logo, and like all the S5s, they have that great looking front end. This one is no different. This one rides on 255/40/20 rubber, so 20-inch wheels with almost comically large brakes. These brakes, which are distinctive to the SQ5, and then they've got the SQ5 applique on the brake itself. But they're just so huge. I mean, these are 20-inch wheels, and these calipers, they must be 10 inches across, and then the rotors fill up the entire interior of the wheel. I've never seen in my life, I can't remember ever seeing brakes that big on anything. No, Lamborghini, you name it. I've never seen brakes so large in my life. Inside, the centerpiece of the seduction, the great Napa leather, that cool steering wheel, everything about it. I say this all the time about Audis. Their interiors are so posh. They just pamper you and spoil you in luxury. And then of course this Formula One style steering wheel, A, looks really cool, but B, it's actually very practical. And if you like to take turns fast, it's set up just right for people who like to really aggressively work the steering wheel over. Back seat, now I've got the front seat where I like it, and I'm 6 feet tall and about 200 pounds, so we're going to jump in back and see if all the reviews are accurate. Everyone complains that the back seat is just far too small, but the truth is, it is not far too small. It's actually really comfortable. It doesn't have theater seating, so the person in back is not higher up than the person in front, but maybe by a couple of inches is all. And so you don't have that kind of perspective on the world. But what you do have is this dynamite panorama roof. And so this big, huge panorama roof, which is standard on all of these, is actually, it lets so much light in and lets so much of the outside world in that you don't feel trapped and confined. Not at all, actually. You feel like you're in a convertible. You feel great in the back seat. And again, with this wonderful Napa leather, I mean, it's just first class. That's all you can say. Let's jump in back and take a peek. One of the distinctive attributes to this vehicle as you come up from it from behind is that 4 oval outlet exhaust, and it is a totally different exhaust system for the SQ5. Generates 354 horsepower and 347 foot-pounds of torque. Now, although this is the same kind of car, ultimately, as the S5 actually only gets 333 horsepower and 325 foot-pounds of torque. And two main reasons for the improvement in the horsepower and torque ratings is that the SQ5 actually, they've found a way to stiffen the block of the engine, and it also accommodates a next generation crankshaft, which yields more power. Now this car has just 9,000 miles, so it should look fantastic, and does look fantastic. T looks like it should stand for turbocharger. It's an easy misleading thing. It's a supercharger in this car. And let's jump inside and take a peek. So practicality-wise, and this car is hopelessly not practical, but it still rides on a 110.5-inch wheelbase, so it's stretched out pretty well like most mid-size sedans. It's 57.3 cubic feet of storage. So if I fold down the back seats here, I have 57.3. Like a lot of small sport utilities, that's pretty a common number, mid-50s to low 60s. One nice thing though, it's almost 30 feet, 29.1 cubic feet of space is available with the back seat up. So what that means is 4 of us could go out for a fun weekend and still actually have plenty of room for all of our stuff. 29.1 cubic feet is double the size of a modern trunk. So you can imagine you can load your trunk up for bear. We'll double that, and that's how much space is available with the rear seats up. So for a small sport utility, it's actually fairly practical. Now let's turn her on. ZF, the transmission company, is probably one of the most common high-end transmissions companies, at least in the world. The ZF's been around since 1920 when they came up with their first patent, and as a company they've been around since 1921. They make some great high-end, not just automatic transmissions, but manual transmissions. This one is an 8-speed automatic transmission, and even in standard mode, you can go in sport mode as well, but even in standard mode without monkeying around with paddle shifters or anything like that, it just snaps off gears, no problem. As you just rush from 0 to 100, 110, 115 miles an hour, so it's bang, 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 bang through the gears. It doesn't feel like it's working or laboring. It doesn't feel like you're driving the car too hard. It just feels like this is what it's made for, and it has everything that you need to do what you want to do extremely well. It's super duper confidence inspiring, and I don't mean that facetiously. I mean, we come into a turn here, 65 miles an hour, a nice sweeper that's really sharp, near 90-degree type of turn, and it's just smooth, smooth, smooth. And I've seen that the European model of this car rides 30 millimeters lower, and so it really gives it that true sports car kind of performance mentality. I don't know. I don't see where this is limited at all. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Maybe just extravagantly fast speeds through really congested city traffic or something like that. I'd need those 30 millimeters to really secure this thing down to the ground. But just for normal, super exciting, fast driving, really, it just drives like a really fun, easy to drive car. It's just a fun, easy to drive car that your friends are like, oh my God, you look like a millionaire in this thing. I mean, it's just so dang good looking. And then of course the interior on these cars is absolutely astonishingly beautiful. And this price point, this car is probably $60,000 or thereabouts even used, but still that's not a ton of money for what you get. You get something that just nobody else has, and it doesn't matter what demographic you're in, doesn't matter how much money you make. You see this come up and you go, man, I want to get behind the wheel of that car, and you get in these seats and you go, this interior is drop dead gorgeous. This is a really, really special car, a really neat car. It's a very loaded version of a very fun to drive car. If you have any questions about this car, we haven't even run it through the shop yet, so I haven't seen the entire shop analysis of this car, but if you'd like me to forward that to you, I can just scan it, send it to your work email, or I can fax it to your home office, whatever you please. Just give me a call, let me know what you need from me, and I'm happy to provide whatever information helps you make the most intelligent possible decision. My name is Joe Tunney. I'm the sales manager at Infiniti of Kirkland. You can call me anytime, 425-821-1600, or just drop me an email at joet@infinityofkirkland.com.